Start. So welcome everyone. I'm Myrette Sokkari. I'm an EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques expert, and today's topic is about stress, especially at this time, during this time. And even if it wasn't this time, I would be talking about stress too. And why is that? Because stress is my story. Stress affects your immunity, and and I had a problem with stress. My stress levels affected my immunity, and I got an autoimmune disease. And this is why whenever I talk about how to release stress or EFT, I'm always using the stress, all right? So today we're going to learn how to use emotional freedom techniques, which is a really easy to do tool and very effective tool for releasing stress. So let me tell you a story. What happens is 5,000 years ago, this man in the cave walks out of the cave and he sees a bear. And the minute he sees it, he has to quickly make a decision. It's either fight or flight. And when doing that, something happens in the brain, in a part called the amygdala, and the stress hormones flood his body. The reason they flood his body is he's got to run or fight. Fast forward 5,000 years, 10,000 years is 2020. And then we are in a situation where we are feeling the exact same thing. We have the fear and the stress. So it could be what's going on here now, which is fear for your own health, fear for your parents' health, fear for your family's health, fear about your business, fear about what's going to happen with the economy, uncertainty, whatever's going on with you. And it's putting a lot of stress in your body. And immediately the amygdala sends the signals to the body and is sending out, we're in danger, and your body is flooded with the stress hormones. The problem is, if you continuously, so with the bear, it was over after a while. He ran, or he fought the bear, or he played dead, or he was eaten. Something happened, but it's done. Right now, what happens is our stress continues. So if we're keeping all these stress hormones untaken care of in the body, they're just saved in the body, and in time they affect our immunity. And at this time, specifically with the coronavirus, the most important thing to do is to take care of our immunity. This is the number one thing, because it's the number one preventer of getting the virus. So, I mean, you can wear the mask, you can take care of, wash your hands all the time, and do whatever else has to be to sanitize the house. But in reality, it's your immunity that's going to protect you. That's what's going to protect you. So we don't want to be in that stress. So it's really vital to release the stress and get rid of the stress so that your immunity can work. There's a lot of science research that says when you are in the stress response, your body does not take care of the immunity. In fact, they go opposite. The stress goes up, the immunity isn't taken care of. So to protect your immunity, you need to make sure you have no stress. And it is hard right now. It is really hard. But we do have, thank God, this tool called Emotional Freedom Techniques, which has been named the #1 stress relief tool on earth. What you do is, it's like an emotional washing. You could take off the stress. And I want you to do this like once or twice or 3 times a day, because you would never go to sleep with your hands dirty. You would never, go to sleep with your body very dirty. But when you have the stress, that's what you're doing. So you need to release it all. We're going to try it out in a minute. So what I want you to do is think of something that's stressing you. Obviously, there's a few things that are stressing us right now. Think of those, and I want you to rate it. And I just want you, with Emotional Freedom Techniques, try it out now, and then I'll explain a little bit. You don't need to understand it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It looks very funny. We're going to be tapping on our face. And I want your hands to be clean. If they're not clean right now, just watch me and then do this later. But just to make sure, because of where we're at, but we'll tap on our face. So it doesn't make sense to the mind. Especially, most people here are very much left-brained. So they can't understand, how does this work? There is a lot of research if you need to learn. You can get on a site and learn a lot. You can Google EFT research, and there's over 120 medical researches about how it works and what it affects in the brain, but this is not our topic right now. Right now, we're just going to see how to use this tool daily to do our emotional washing and relieve the stress. So if you're with me here, I want you to just close your eyes and think of what's stressing you out. And not everything, just choose one, please. So if you're really worried about the kids or the parents or yourself catching it, or your business or your job, will you have it in a month or two, whatever's worrying you or stressing you, I want you to think about it and get a feel of it. And you can even try and get a feel of it. Where is it in your body? Some people are very easily, they can feel and see where it is. If you can't, that's okay. But if you can feel it, like where is it? Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Where is it in this stress? And then I want you to rate it, like how 0 being, no, I don't have any stress at all, 10 being extreme. And whatever you feel it is what it is. You don't have to, it's not a perfection. It's just like, it feels like a 7, it feels like an 8, it feels like way out there, it feels like a 10. Do whatever it feels like, okay? Just keep that number in your mind. This is where we started out with. And now we're going to do the tapping. So the tapping, as I said, is we're touching our faces, and just follow me and try it out. Give yourself this chance to try it out. EFT is known worldwide in almost all countries on the planet and has been used in many, many areas of disaster situations, like with veterans of the US Army, in Rwanda, in Bosnia, when really people were super stressed. It's been used to help people in that. In the States after the Boston, there was this killing, the huge killing that happened. So wherever that's going on, then remember the school stuff. Okay, so let's start with the tapping. So we start with tapping on the side of the hand, and it doesn't matter left or right. And we're just going to say, even though I'm really stressed. So it's a sentence of 3 parts. Even though I'm stressed is the issue, I love and accept myself. So we're going to do that 3 times. Even though I'm stressed, I love and accept myself. And your mind knows what you're stressed about. I'm going to talk general, but it might be stressed about my work, stressed about my home, I'm stressed about my kids, whatever it is. Even though I'm really stressed, I love and accept myself. And if you can't say I love and accept myself, you can say I'm okay. And you might be saying, but I'm not okay. No, I'm not okay. I'm really stressed. Just let your mind know that you're okay. It's just use that. Trust me. Even though I'm really, really stressed, I'm okay. Or if you can't even say that, just say, I might be okay. Later. Like later. But I might get okay, inshallah. Alright? And then we start with 2 fingers. And again, it doesn't matter right or left. And just start tapping and say, this stress in my body. Then go down just a few taps, 6 or 7. Don't count them. Then to the side of the eye, right on the bone. And we're going to say, this stress in my body. And then under the eye, and just say, this stress in my body. And under the nose, this stress in my body. And then in the indent, and these are very what we call acupoints, they're chosen points in the body. This stress in my body. And you might be starting to feel a bit relaxed, by the way, because of just the way the EFT works. There's a physical something that happens with these points. And then the next point will be right on the collarbone, so you can do right here. This stress in my body. This stress in my body. Now, if you know where it is and you felt it, like the stress in my chest or the stress in my stomach, then do that. But I'm doing a general tapping, all right? And then under your arms, 4 fingers under the arms, and just say, on the side of the body, where the seam of the clothes are, where the sewing is, this stress in my body, this stress in my body. And then take your fingers, and right here, in the first third, like if you put your hands on your ears, you would do it here. So it's in this area, and you can do this, or you can do this. This stress in my body. Now, don't worry, you don't have to get the points perfectly, because there's a vibration and you'll get it, any of these points. But generally, I don't want it way over there, and I don't want it here. So it needs to be like there, because these are the points we want to get. And then let's do another round. This stress in my body. the stress in my body, this stress in my body, this stress. You can go fast, you can go slow, everybody does it their own way. The stress in my body, the stress in my body, this stress. And now I just want you to take a deep breath. And another one. And a third one, please. Close your eyes and feel what's happening with you. What's happening with your stress? Where is it now? Pretty much you'll find it less. Sometimes you'll find it right where it is. You started at 7, it's still a 7. That's okay. Most of the time you'll find it has decreased. Okay, so even if you're doing this later, please comment for me what happened for you. So it will come down. Okay, and then you would just continue to tap until you get this down to like a 2 or 3. If you can get it to a 0, of course, it's perfect. How long would you tap? Maybe 5-10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. It's not a long time. Okay, but right now what I want to do is explain a little bit of EFT, and then we're going to do one more round. So EFT is what we call acupuncture for the emotions. And it's more than that, but that's the easy way to explain it. So it's tapping, which means using the points that acupuncturists would use, or similar points, what we call acupoints. Actually, acupuncturists will not use these points specifically because they're very sensitive points, but because we use our fingers, it's safe. We're not putting any needles inside. So acupuncture for the emotions, and it works on the emotions. It basically works for people who really want to know science on something called the amygdala. Because our emotions, a lot of it is triggered by the amygdala, and it's sending hormones through the body. But by doing this, what happens is something in the body called pattern interrupt. It stops that from happening. It stops that from happening. So because when we think of something, there's something going on in the brain, that thought pattern will affect the brain, and it will trigger the amygdala. And a lot of times the stress, in this case, we do have some stressors, but it's not really real. Maybe it's not really dangerous for me today. Maybe I'm okay financially for at least 3-4 months, so I don't really have to worry, or 6 months, I don't have to worry. But I'm thinking all the time about it. So anyway, but the fact that I'm thinking it, the mind thinks it's real. It thinks I'm in danger right now. And that's why it starts sending out all those stress hormones. We want to stop that. We want to stop that. So we're going to just keep tapping until we're about a 4 or a 5. And then we can maybe say something a little bit more calming to the system, what I call the positive wording. But positive wording will not really work for you unless it's about 4 or 5. If you're in the 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, that means you're highly aroused inside. Positive wording will not work for you. The brain will just say, no, that does not make sense. I'm in real trouble because it's really stressed. So we need to get the mind into that range of 4 and 5. And we can say something, I wonder if it's possible that I can release this stress. I wonder if it's possible that I'm okay right now, at this moment. I wonder if it's possible, when I think about it, I'm safe, at least right now. I wonder if it's true that I am safe right now. I wonder if I've done all I can do, and that's all I can do. In reality, continuing to worry and stress about it isn't helping me. It's actually ruining my immunity. And that's the last thing I want to do. I wonder if I can just relax because I've done all I can. I wonder if I can let go and relax. I wonder if I can just let go and relax. I wonder if it's possible for me to know that I'm safe right this moment. And I've done my best to do that. I wonder if it's okay for me to think that way. Wonder if it's okay for me to release that stress. And then take a few deep breaths. And a third one. And check in again. Check what's happening with you. All right? That should take it down even further. Now, in some cases, it doesn't. It stays the same. It just means you need to tap more, or you need to use more specific words. That's what it means. So you would have had to use the specifics for you, even though I'm really worried about, even though I'm really stressed about. So you do this, even though I'm really stressed about, and this is what you would be doing. Then your mind will be focusing on your issue, because this is a general tapping, all right? That might be a reason. There are some times when maybe instead of being, so you have three things that can happen. It will decrease, stay the same, or increase. There are sometimes it will increase. Don't worry. Don't get scared like, oh my God, now I'm worse. Just continue tapping. If it increases, it's because you've opened the file, you brought it more to mind. Maybe you're not trying to think about it, you're like throwing it in the back. But because we said you're stressed, you're like, oh yes, I am so stressed about this, which is fine because you had background stress. And if you just continue to say this stress, this stress, this stress, this stress, this stress, this stress, it will come down. In fact, when it spikes up, it comes down very fast. The point is to try to get it as much as we can, close to a 3 or 2, a 1, hopefully a 0. And when you continue to tap daily, your body gets used to the sequence. The body knows what's coming in, and it starts getting the results faster. You know how like when you first take sometimes a certain medicine and the doctor says, it's going to take you a week before your body gets used to it, or it's going to take you 2 weeks before your body does well with it. This is something like that. This is not a medicine, but it works the same way. Your body starts to understand what you're doing, and it starts to flow with you and help you release the stress faster. And this is what happens when you're tapping a lot. Now, my advice is tap daily. Tap once, twice, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. What is the rule? The rule is when every time your hands are dirty, you wash them before the coronavirus. So if there was no rule, your mother could not tell you, honey, or just wash your hands 3 times a day. She didn't know what was going to happen to you. So it was just, when they're dirty, wash them. Same thing with emotional washing. Every time you go through something that stresses you out or bothers you, because you can use it for other emotions, of course, go wash that. Take 5 minutes off. Go in a room by yourself, do it. Or at the end of the day, don't get in bed with it, please. And then clear that out of your system. That is the rule. If you need more information about that, you will find a lot of videos on YouTube in English and in Arabic for myself and others. There's actually millions of videos on YouTube, on EFT. Everybody uses the same points almost. People may use different ways of wording, or they may explain it a little bit different, but it's basically the same. And if you start using this tool, it will change your life, because it works on many, many other things that I'm not going to explain or talk about today. Okay, if you have any questions, please send me under this video. And also, I'm going to be putting a little gift for you. It's a tapping script. If you'd like that, I'm just going to put a link. Actually, if you just write myrette.com, it will show up, and you just sign up. And then I will send you a stress relief tapping, what we call a tapping script. It's all written for you, so you can go through it. If that's something you'd like, if you need more information about EFT generally, any questions, just post them below this video, and I will be answering you. Okay, so I think we're done. It only took a few minutes. And okay, my story. My story is a long story. I was working in the financial sector. Many of you here are doing the same. I'm not blaming the financial sector. I was relatively successful. Not overworked, but it seems I was stressed. And I never thought I was stressed. That's my story. I would say, I don't know how come they keep saying they're stressed at work. I don't know. I'm also a perfectionist, which leads to a lot of autoimmune diseases. This is documented. Perfectionists generally are stressed and they pretend they're not. So anyway, by 2007, I got really, really, really sick. I didn't recognize what it is. I thought it was just aches and pains. Anyway, it ended up to being something called rheumatoid arthritis. And it went from bad to worse. It just kept going from bad to worse, where I was laying in bed, actually. And I was taking medication and everything, but it wasn't really doing anything, and they never promised it would do anything. They said it was going to go from bad to worse anyway. I was losing my eyesight, I was losing my hair. It was just not good, and I was in a lot of pain. And then I discovered EFT by mere chance on the internet, and I started doing what they're doing. I was tapping for everything on earth. I didn't know it was going to help me or heal me. I just started tapping on whatever. like my pain, my sadness, my anger at my disease, my feeling betrayed by my body, everything I could think of. And I just was doing it because I was sitting in bed, but I spent a lot of tapping. I was tapping like 10 hours a day. I was just tapping anytime because I wasn't sleeping. And I got better. I just started getting better. First of all, I was starting to be able to sleep a little bit longer because I was not sleeping. I was sleeping like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then waking up, and in 20 minutes. It was always very, very sporadic. I started getting really better, and then I thought, oh my God, I can't see myself going back to doing finance. My statement was, there's a lot of people who can do finance well, but there is nobody in the whole Arab region that's doing this EFT. I'm going to start teaching it. Because I searched, I looked like, where is it? Is it in Egypt? No. Is it in Lebanon? No. Is it in, I don't know. Is it in Dubai? Is it in Kuwait? No. This was 2010, 2009 actually. And by 2010, I decided to study. By 2011, the revolution came, and I was like, oh my God, I have to do a lot of work and spread this knowledge. People were stressed, people were scared, people were everything. And I started what I call my EFT awareness program. So I started getting on TVs with God's help, and radio, and writing articles, and doing everything. I was just doing everything, and it started coming on. And this is still my quest, and my mission is to tell people about this. And stress is very close to my heart, because stress, people are walking around with stress. And this group, there's a lot of business people, there's a lot of successful people, and there's a lot of times people have what we call underlying stress. They don't even know they're in stress, like me. They don't even recognize, they think it's normal life. That's what I termed it. I said, it's normal life, there's nothing weird here. I'm just a mother, and I have a business, and what's different? Everybody does that. In fact, I always thought I was like doing less because I didn't always work full time, because I've been freelancing for years. But in reality, I was under stress. So, as I said, even if we were not in the coronavirus, I would come out and talk about the stress and the impact of stress on immunity, especially because this is why we're getting a lot of autoimmune diseases that's showing up in people's bodies, and people can't understand why they got it. Any other questions? Thank you, Mona. Thank you, Mona, for making this happen. And I know others will watch this later. Maybe they couldn't catch it now. And I know when people are meant to know something, it will come to them anyway. It will just show up in their face, like EFT showed up for me, because as my teacher said, EFT finds you. You don't find EFT. And I really believe that. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'll be talking to you later.